It's time for Growing Hope, the show determined to grow up hearts open to pursue the extraordinary. Because you are extraordinary! And now, it's your host, Kathryn Lang.
Hello there, and welcome to Growing Hope, where we are investing in setting a foundation of hope that will protect you from the shifting sands and from whatever storms come your way. I am Kathryn Lang, your Hope Smith extraordinaire, here to share a little inspiration and hope with a dash of twisted encouragement. Thus, Snarky Rainbows. You can connect with me over at snarkyrainbows.com for more daily ignition of your possibility thinking. We need people in our lives that are going to give us that little extra infusion of hope and encouragement. I want to be that extra infusion of hope and encouragement for you. Now, we are going to continue down this path of investing in hope for several weeks. Last week, we were focused on the choice of hope, and it's got to be an intentional thing that you do. Hope doesn't just happen to you. Hope is something that you intentionally choose one step at a time. We walked through the 5 steps for making hope your intentional choice. This week, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to deal with those times of hopelessness, how to find hope when everything around you seems hopeless. So we're going to be focusing on making God first, smile, one of my favorites, hold tight to the promise, be okay with the tears, and make God last. So God first, God last, and smiles and tears in between. Isn't that how life is? God first, God last, and smiles and tears in between. It's not always going to go the way you want it to go. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably rarely going to go the way you expected it to go. There's usually a twist or a turn somewhere in there. That's what makes the story interesting. Think about it. If you're watching a movie or a TV show or reading a book and you know everything that's going to happen, what do? You put it down. It's boring. You don't enjoy it. You want little twists and turns. Now, granted, in life, it's not as much fun when you're going through those twists and turns. But when you look back, you see how those twists and turns are what formulated the amazing life that you're leading. The more you're invested in hope, the more prepared you're going to be for those twists and turns. And those twists and turns are going to come. Sometimes they're your own design. Sometimes they're beyond your control. Sometimes, it's because of somebody else. It really doesn't matter how the twists and turns come up. They're there. So one of the ways and one of the most important things that you can do to create that foundation of hope, to be prepared to have hope even in those hopeless moments, is to make God first. This is an intentional choice. Everything that we're going to be talking about is going to be an intentional choice. Everything that you do in your life is a choice. Not making a choice, that's your choice. But it's a choice. So this time we're going to be making God first. Several years ago, I challenged myself to tithe my time. What that means is that if you actually sit down and figure it out, 24 hours, a tithe of that, a tenth of that, is around 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think is what it is. I'm not sure of the exact minutes. But I said, I'm going to tithe my time, and I'm going to do it reading scripture. So I broke down the scripture, and you can get a copy of that breakdown. It'll take you either through the Bible in 1 month. You have to do all 3, because it's broken down in 3 sections. You have to do each day, all 3 sections, to get through it in a month, or you can stretch it out into 3 months and you'll get through the Bible in 90 days. So you can get that over at the website, snarkyrainbows.com. It's called 90 Days Through the Bible. The workbook is also available on Amazon. So every morning I got up and I invested 2 hours, usually about 2.5 hours, reading the scriptures as I had written it out. So that took me through the whole Bible in 1 month. January, February, February's tough because you don't have as much of a month in February, March. And then in April, I began to adjust and move it into a 3-month period. The reason I did that was to train myself to put God first, to make God a priority. The habits that you've created have happened one step at a time. So you didn't just wake up one morning and start brushing your teeth every day. Your mom probably nagged you until you got in the habit of brushing your teeth every day. Now it's a habit, and it doesn't feel right if you don't do it. The same thing goes with reading your scripture. You have to make the intentional choice to invest in it every single day. What's great about this reading through the Bible workbook that I put together is that if you miss a day, you don't feel like the world's going to end and you have to catch up. Or if you're sick or something comes up and you weren't able to get to it. And sometimes you can go back and make it up that night. But I like the first thing in the morning, that's my scripture time. Because it makes God first in my day. It makes God first in my heart and in my mind. And it changes the tone for the rest of the day. So when you get up in the morning, make God a priority. If you cannot find 5 minutes to read scripture first thing in the morning, then when you roll out of bed, roll over and write that gratitude down. And add a thank you to God. So now you're being grateful and thankful. And that's going to begin pushing you in a better direction. But my challenge for you is to find a way to invest in scripture first thing in the morning. Remember, you can get a free download of the breakdown over at the website, snarkyrainbows.com. Just go down to the bottom of the page and you'll see the link. Or you can get the workbook over at amazon.com. So that's it. That's how we get started. We make God the priority. Thank you so much for joining me today for Growing Hope. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing how you make God the priority in your day. Share with me over at snarkyrainbows.com or find me on Facebook as the Kathryn C. Lang or on Twitter as Kathryn C. Lang. Until next time, remember, be blessed and be a blessing.
Thank you for joining us for Growing Hope with Kathryn Lang, where we are sharing hope, encouragement, and inspiration to do more. Visit www.kathrynlang.com to invite Kathryn to be part of your event or to share your own stories of possibility living. Until next time, remember that a seed of hope planted and nurtured will grow up into a world of possibilities.